Family is the best thing you could ever wish for, because they are the only people who will stand around you and help you in everything you ask for. To have a caring and vigilant family with beautiful parents is the only thing one could ever ask for. Parents are the closest people in one's life, and we do not fail to tell them anything which makes us unhappy, because we believe in them so much that they will not make any decision harming us. Many kids around the world live a happy life with their parents, like I said before, but some kids may not receive the love and care which they deserve from their parents. It is really unfortunate to have such parents, but we should know that fate cannot be changed. It is said that positive attitudes give you power over your circumstances instead of allowing your circumstances to have power over you. Therefore, no matter in what problem you are in, your possibility will make you overcome all of your difficulties. So today, we have brought you a story of how a little kid overcame all her problems with her positive attitude. Let's see what we can learn through this story. Before going, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to be notified with our latest updates. This story was reported in the Kansas City, USA in early 2000s, where this city was on headlines every day for crimes, drug dealings, and murder cases. The protagonist of our story is a little girl, Klynn Scales, who was just 9 years old at the time. It was so hard for a mother to raise up 3 kids, including Klynn and her 2 younger brothers, all alone without a husband. She employed herself in many little jobs that paid her a small amount of money, which she efficiently saved and used for their daily expenses. But as the children grew little by little, the money she earned became less efficient, and she had to struggle a lot to make a living. She worked days and nights without a break to feed her kids. While she was not at home, Klynn would look after her little brothers, which was a massive task for a little girl of 9. And one day, after making her brothers go to sleep, she looked out of her window and saw Jeff Colvin, a decent police officer who was on his patrol duty. The officer also saw the little girl looking at him through the window, and he smiled at her, where she also smiled and waved at him. He knew that the life of the kids around this neighborhood was not that easy, so for the sake of her little happiness, he smiled and waved at her. While the friendship of the officer and Klynn grew, her mother was struggling to meet the ends. Bills were piling up, and they could not even have a proper dinner for ages. Klynn and her brothers became weak day by day, as they did not eat well. As her mother could not find a proper way to earn money, she started to head down on a gloomy path by turning herself into a drug dealer. Klynn was unhappy with her mother's decision, as she could remember how her mother taught them to be aware of bad people and drug dealing, as they were bad things to do. But this little girl could not stop her mother, and at the beginning her mother brought them food and they had a little good time with each other. But with the time passed, her mother became addicted to drugs little by little. There were days where Klynn's mother did not come home, and Klynn had to bear everything around the house, including looking after her brothers. She had nothing to feed the babies and herself, so the kids became weaker and weaker. Over the weeks ahead, even though she had a tough day, she never missed to wave at her police friend, and even the police officer managed to wave and greet her every day while on his patrol duty. It actually became a daily ritual for them to meet and wave at each other, even though they were complete strangers. They started talking with each other about the weather, the city, and the people, but the officer realized that the girl was mysteriously hiding something from him, as she never spoke about her mother or family. As her mother did not come back home for days and nights, Klynn had to make a move in order to break their hunger. So she had to walk by herself in the busy street with inhuman people around to find something to eat. She sometimes asked for food from the neighborhood, but it was not enough for the 3 kids. Finally, Klynn had to steal food from her neighborhood, which she knew was a bad thing to do. But she had to do so as her brothers were crying for food. She even stole food from the convenience store in their city, where she was caught by the authorities and let go as she was just a hungry kid feeding her brothers. Her family name was counted under the list of dysfunctional houses by the local social services, but they did not take any action to take care of the poor kids who were struggling their lives without a mother. The kids were malnourished and Clyn was exhausted. She had nothing to feed her brothers and herself. Jeff Colvin, the police officer, did not know a bit of Clyn's sad story. He came for his daily patrol duty but did not see Clyn through their window. It was the first time that Jeff did not see Clyn, and he was so upset and doubtful. He waited for more minutes to pass, and as he did not see the girl, he slowly went towards their house and knocked on the door. There was no response from inside the house, unless a moan followed by a movement where Jeff's curiosity level rose up, and had to unlock the door and see what was happening. For his surprise, he found the door was not locked, so he opened it up and saw something he was not expecting at all. He saw Clyn fainted on the ground and her brothers crying and sitting by the side of her. Jeff quickly squatted down near the girl and inspected her. Clyn was unconscious, pale and shivering. Jeff quickly managed to call the ambulance, and after handing Clyn over to the ambulance, he took the little brothers along with him to the hospital where Clyn was taken. She was diagnosed with severe malnourishment, and the doctors said that she would not be able to last another day if she was not taken to the hospital as soon as possible. Later after, she was taken care of for her malnourishment. She was taken away from that area, and the police officer and Clyn had to part their ways from that moment. Years passed, and Clyn is now a grown-up. She said that she will never ever forget what happened years back, and someday she would like to meet her guardian angel who gave her a second chance of life. Clyn said to the reporters, "He was that one person that I trusted in my life as a kid, and she was so much thankful for his kindness. Despite all the past time, she needed to thank Jeff Colvin in person by herself. So she thought of seeking information about the police officer, Jeff Colvin." Unfortunately, due to the long time past, Clyn had forgotten the police officer's name. So she first logged to the Kansas City Police Department's Facebook page to get some clues about him. Thankfully, she managed to contact Jennifer Jones, a senior police officer who knew Jeff Colvin, and said she would reach out to Officer Colvin on her behalf. Officer Jones mailed Officer Colvin the message that a woman who claimed to be a little girl who waved at him every day and whom he had saved years ago was looking for him. After receiving this mail, Officer Jeff Colvin was so shocked to hear the news about Clyn, the little friend of him. Colvin knew exactly this woman must be Clyn, who was the little girl saved by him 20 years ago. He said Officer Jones that he will meet the woman by himself. Officer Jones contacted Clyn with Officer Jeff on one day. At the first glance, he knew this must be Clyn. She came near him and greeted and thanked him for saving her life. Both of them were very happy to see each other, and they were so emotional at that meetup. Clyn said, "I just never thought that this would happen, to find my hero." Officer Colvin also recalled, "Most times we go through our career not realizing we truly helped anybody out, which was the case with me, where I wondered if I was even in the right path." He was so thankful to Clyn that the relationship with her proved that his path was right. Clyn, after meeting her guardian angel, Officer Jeff Colvin, posted her story on social media, where the amazing story about their friendship and how she was saved by him became a trending topic which went viral. Many people started supporting her and blessing her for her bright future ahead. People also were impressed by Officer Colvin's selfless and kind act done to save the girl. Clyn revealed to Officer Colvin that the incident of life-saving had a huge impact on taking her next steps in life, and she was able to save her brothers from her drug-addicted mother. She managed to raise her brothers alone, and all these life events made her heart to become someone like Colvin, who can change the lives of people living in miserable situations. She studied hard and took her exams to become a police officer, and finally, she became a member of Jeff Colvin's police family. Finally, Clyn said to the reporters, "Jeff Colvin is not just a hero to me, but my guardian angel also. He was there when I had no one. I want him and every police officer to know what you do. No matter how small or big, you can make a positive impact in someone's life, like he did mine. So we've come to the end of today's story, which we delivered you with a true and a heart-touching story about how a child with bravery and mindfulness overcame miserable situations of her life, and how a humble and truthful police officer did his job on time. Hope you enjoyed this story, and make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to be notified with our latest updates. See you in the next video.